Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome to a lightning round edition of Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross, joined by... Oh, we're out of time!
Yes.
Yes, Saul.
I'll be out of time, Saul. That's my name.
Yes, I have somewhere to be in a little bit, because, well, that's how life is. How's your week been going? Or last week, even, because we missed due to unfortunate circumstances.
It's been alright. Can't complain, I guess.
Oh, I could complain, but I'm not going to.
Well, sure, but who cares about,
my week was still better than the people who worked on Diablo Immortal, who currently Diablo Immortal user score is a 0.2 on Metacritic.
So you'll have to explain about Diablo Immortal, because
yes,
I never liked the game anyway. So
right, yeah. Well,
so
actually, let's jump into that.
We'll
do some game stuff.
get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
All right. So Diablo Immortal. So I've always been a fan of Diablo. I started playing Diablo 2 way back when on PC or whatever. Kind of enjoyed Diablo 3. Honestly, I've played more Diablo 2 since Diablo 3 came out. So I'm more like the throwback. I have not played the remastered or anything like that. But
and
I
this
enjoy
is the
it.
game. Let me make sure I'm thinking of the right game. This is the game that you just click, right?
Yeah, like click to move, and then you have like your abilities queued up. So action RPG, lots of loot, and you kind of replay trying to grind better gear, like different kind of bonuses, things like that for gear sets, all that stuff. So
gotcha.
The Diablo Immortal, that is the phone version that they unveiled at BlizzCon when everybody was expecting Diablo 4, which absolutely hurt that announcement. And then they managed to not only set that announcement on fire, but also throw it down the stairs, all in the same day, it felt like. So,
but was it Blizzard's fault, or was it people's expectations' fault?
I believe it kind of goes both ways, because Diablo... So there were tons of rumors and stuff about a Diablo announcement, which everybody assumed was Diablo 4. Now, I don't have the information in front of me. I'm just going by how I kind of remember it. So it seemed like timeline-wise, and due to rumblings and rumors and stuff, that it was about time for a new Diablo game. So everybody's expecting like at least an announcement about Diablo 4. Blizzard did nothing to quell this in any way, so they allowed that to run. And then now, with hindsight, later on it came out that there was going to be a Diablo 4 announcement, but they scrapped it for whatever reason. So when they announced Diablo Immortal, you have BlizzCon, where everyone's a PC gamer, where everybody's expecting a Diablo 4 announcement, and you tell them about a phone game, which I believe NetEase is involved, which basically makes like the super pay-to-win style games a lot of times.
Sure.
So there's really not, like, your venue, that was a very bad choice. The thing is, they could have also done like, hey, Diablo 4, don't show anything. Just be like, hey, we actually are working on this. It's going to be a while before you see anything. In the meantime, check this out. We got Diablo Immortal on the phone that's going to be coming to hold you over.
In the meantime, look at this cash grab we got right here.
Right. But I feel like if they would have done something like that, like flash the Diablo 4 Immortal and be like, look, we're still working on it. It's not ready to show, but it's going to happen. And then in the meantime, I think that comes across way better, as opposed to the whole Diablo Immortal thing, and you got the whole, what, you guys don't have phones? So this game, so I downloaded this game and played it on my phone. It plays fine. However, I didn't get super far into it because I knew it was probably like a very... I'm trying to think how to explain this without being super biased, because I have no problem, like Supercell makes the like the Clash of Clans games or Brawl Stars or whatever, and those are fairly pay to win based games. Like there's definitely that element to it. I've been playing Brawl Stars since it came out, and there's all kinds of ways you can spend money on that game, but I hardly ever do. Like I don't feel like it's very necessary. Now they have like their battle pass kind of thing every 60 days where it's like $9 to get it, and you'll get like a new character and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's like, for as much as I play that game, I don't feel bad giving them $10 every couple months. Like if it were a subscription like that, it'd be like, okay, that's fine. Like I get plenty of enjoyment out of this game. Now I'm not buying like $100 worth of gems and buying crazy stuff with it, but I have no issues with certain types of microtransactions in a game if I feel there's a value to it. Now, Diablo Immortal, last I heard, has 22 different currencies in it.
Okay.
I don't even know if Warcraft has 22 currencies across all the expansions. I mean, I'm sure it does, but if you just picked up a game and it's like there's 22 currencies for different things, that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I was starting to watch, I didn't realize how late it was getting in the morning. Josh Strife Hayes, I don't know if you ever watched that guy's stuff. I more recently discovered him, but he basically talks about, typically it seems like MMOs, but he does pretty good content. He has like a 40-minute video on Diablo Immortal on why it's so bad. But so I haven't gotten through that, but he seems to have a pretty level take on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But now I've watched the people who are the screaming and yelling about things, and while they're more entertaining, I feel like they're exaggerating stuff. But like I saw one thing was saying that to buy everything in Diablo currently would be like $100,000 or something.
Okay.
Now I don't know what that entails though. Like, because I'm not watching that whole video, but is it like if you buy every single possible microtransaction, then yeah, I could see where you could rack it up. Now, are you buying stuff that's actually like what would actually be a value to you to make it better? I don't know. I guess there is one thing, and I don't know if they're exaggerating, like, you know, like playtime is a different thing. Like it might take you to level in a game, say it takes you a week, but it takes me a day. But that's because I had like a 24-hour period where all I did was play that game. And then you had, 6 days where you played 4 hours. Like, you can skew that number, like, if you want to make the conversation different. Like, well, it only took me a day to level up. Like, well, yeah, it took you a day. Like, you played straight for 24 hours. That's not a reasonable thing for the average person to do. But they were saying that you could eliminate, if you were playing as free-to-play, it would take you, I think, 3 months versus spending, like, $9 on something.
Yeah.
And it would complete that. That seems like an insane time jump kind of thing. Where it's like, oh, this is kind of not expensive. But I don't know. I don't know what all you get. I wasn't watching or reading far enough to see what it was actually negating, and how valid that was.
So if that's the case, whether it is, we'll assume that it is, whether it is or not. 3 months is a little long. I think like a month to get what you can buy to pay for $10 or $9 or whatever. I think that's reasonable.
Right, because I mean, there are certain skips. Like, I don't really have it. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I feel like Warcraft is the easiest thing to use and probably like the most widely known game that people might have an opinion on. You can do your level boost. Well, 90%, I would say, of your game is always going to be in-game in Warcraft currently. So if you just skip the leveling process, you're really not, it's not like you're skipping a ton of the game. Like, all the in-game stuff is usually at level cap anyway. So, or if you're just catching up to the current expansion or whatever. So, and I understand people who really don't like that, but I have less of a problem with that.
I don't understand why. Because it's a content that's no longer needed.
Right. Yeah,
and you're going to have more people playing in the current expansion.
Right.
Let's just say for Wrath. If people like, I don't want to do Burning Crusade. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Yeah, if they want to skip to that. Yeah, I don't understand. It'd be one thing if like there was some weird progression where you had to do previous content stuff that really, really mattered. But the way they do it is basically like a clean slate. Like, your goal doesn't become anything to do with like you don't need any in-game content in the Burning Crusade basically to go into Wrath. Like, there's other than like your character, you can make your character slightly stronger when you start Wrath, but it all goes away by the time you hit the level cap. So now I think some people don't like it too because it's like a gateway transaction where then they start adding more and more and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so people are just back to Diablo Immortal. Like, just the way the cash shop is working seems really bad for people. I did not play it enough to even have an idea of it. But the little bit that I got to play, it feels like a Diablo game on my phone, which for me, there's more going on than I would prefer for a phone game, if that makes any sense. Now, you can play it. Like, if you have your Battle.net client, you can download it and play it on PC, and it seems like it's a fine game, but because, like, I guess they're using every trick as well to try to get you to buy stuff. Like, like psychologically, there's like different things that they've proven over time works to try to coerce people to spend money. I guess people are saying they pretty much have used every single method you possibly can to try to extract money from people.
Sure.
So, where it's like, oh, this deal will never come back. You better get it now. Oh, this deal is 800% better value. You're an idiot if you don't buy this. I'm sure it doesn't actually say that. Although I would be okay if a game was like, if you don't buy this, you're an idiot. This is such a good deal. You're just like, if they were just like belligerent about it. So yeah, like, I'm just amused though by how much people hate it. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything get a 0.2 score on Metacritic.
No.
Like, I could be
some
wrong.
people, and also some of that has to be trolls because they don't like Blizzard for whatever reason.
Well, it's the piling on, and then it's like, Blizzard was always big about like, oh, well, we have these core values and ideas about making video games, and now it's like, well, you guys clearly don't have that anymore, but you haven't really said, oh yeah, we don't believe this anymore. So it's like, if you guys are still going to pretend that you're this when you're doing this, we're not letting you get away with it.
Someone should really say, all right, the Blizzard that you all love, it's dead. This is the new Blizzard.
Be like, we're replacing that orc statue. We actually are replacing it with a statue of the devil. So everybody get your expectations right, because we're going for a ride.
No, I mean, it is what it is.
Yep, but yeah, if you ever want a game to play on the phone and you like the Diablo style games, and you have no desire to spend money, you could probably enjoy it. Like, I haven't heard anyone talk about like, oh, it gets to where like it's almost impossible to play without spending money. Like, I haven't heard anything like that, but I've also been out of it for about 5 days of like news and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it feels like, so it could be more crazy. I don't know, but
gotcha.
That was kind of like the majority of like my video game stuff. I did play a mobile game called Rukoi Online, and it's supposed to be like a 2D MMO style game. It feels a little bit like Final Fantasy. I've played a sizable amount of it. I gave them 99 cents of my money for something, just because I had played it so much.
Yeah.
I
I've tapped out since you said Final Fantasy.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't like that style. Like it's this weird. I don't know what to think of it. Like I'll update further on. Like I don't even know if it's good, but I'm interested in like what the game, like what it expects you to do at a certain point. Like as you level up, like I'm curious as to like, well, what's the rest of this game like? Because so far it's like. It's very simple, but then at the same time, it's like, what? I'm just like, all I'm doing is grinding mobs.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, I almost enjoy that gameplay loop. So,
Sure.
But yeah. So, did you play anything or discover any amazing games this last couple weeks?
The only thing I played was Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
And I try to play online.
Yeah.
And it's the classic thing where. I mean, I wasn't trying to do a lot with the game. I was just seeing if I could get up to like max level.
Yeah.
And I made like just a dinky little house, and then I get logged on a couple days ago, and half the stuff that I grinded for is gone.
Like just evaporated.
It's the classic Conan Exiles where you can't find it. You know what's going on.
It could be under your house. It could be on the moon.
So. I have found out that the best way to play Conan Exiles right now at the current state of the game is go to single player, go to admin mode, and you just give yourself all the good gear and just go to the different levels of the bosses and dungeons and just do it like that.
And just experience them.
Yeah, so I went to all the dungeons that you and me played back in the day, and
yeah.
I did all those with a thrall that's stupid.
Right.
The thrall system is it's a great idea, but they don't know how to get that thing to work.
I mean, it was broken. You know, actually, when we were playing it initially,
yeah.
And for people who are listening, like basically the thrall is like, there's like the NPCs that you like camps and stuff like that. You can create a weapon that knocks them out, tie them up, drag them back to your base. And then basically, I guess, break their soul until they just obey you, kind of thing. Yes. And then you have like
slavery.
Yeah, they just call it a thrall, but it's slavery. They're just giving it a pretty name.
If you ever watched the Conan movie, it's what it was. It was slavery.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. You could put lipstick on a pig, and it's still pig. They dressed up the name to try to be a little more sensitive, but
yeah.
But yeah, like initially when we were playing it, it seemed like they worked okay. And then they did like one or two updates, and then you got to where they would just stand there, or they'd float in the air, or they would disappear.
Well, and it seems like, and I've heard other people talk about it, it's like certain areas of the map to where they'll work fine, and they're good, and then for whatever reason, that one little section, they're just like, they just stand there. Yeah. Like I was killing the witch queen over there in the jungle area.
Yeah.
And the entire time that the thrall was going good, I was like, all right, good. They fixed this AI pretty good. And then we get up inside the dungeon, and the thing just stands there. And I had to do all the work.
Yeah, like something broke.
So I'm just like, all right, classic Conan Exiles.
We also had where there really wasn't a cap on how many thralls you could have out in the world, which was probably a mistake.
Well, and they did fix that.
Okay.
So there is a cap now, but I think it helps. But
well, yeah, because it's like if everyone on your server had like a ton of dudes, it makes it worse. But then like the thrall, even if people's bases were gone, it never despawned. Like you would just have people floating in the air that didn't do anything, or they were archers floating in the air that could still shoot you and you couldn't shoot them. Like it was just ridiculous.
And the fact that they didn't put a limit on building.
Yeah.
Like it's okay if you're on single player and you could just, if you wanted to build the entire map, that's fine because that's your thing and it's not going to bog down the thing. But when everyone has the option of building massive cities, it bogs down the servers and you just can't play it. It's just
No, there's been issues with that. Now, you had sent me something about this. So they did an announcement countdown.
Yes.
That I assume was the hope that it was going to be the sorcery announcement.
Yeah, so they've been hyping this thing ever since like late winter.
Yeah.
That something is coming.
And it was a countdown.
It
Like a countdown.
was a
clock.
countdown, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so
it
this
happened.
It's like a 4-month countdown or something. Yeah. Is that about right? So people
it seemed like it, yeah.
The small handful of people that are clearly the most optimistic people on earth are waiting for the Conan announcement. And finally, the clock ticks down.
Yeah. And they say,
what happens?
And they say, come back at the end of June and we'll tell you.
So it was a multi-month countdown clock to an announcement of an announcement.
Well, and so what it was like this statue or whatever filling up with blood.
Yeah.
And like everyone in the announcement said, if you knew it was not going to come out,
yeah,
just slow the filling up with the blood in the statue.
Right. Yeah.
Why do you let the countdown end and be like, all right, well, we got a couple more weeks, Well,
or if it was like, I'm not. Sometimes I'm okay with announcements of announcements. Video gaming, I've seen it a lot, so it makes me less receptive to it. But it'd be one thing if they're like, the announcement is tomorrow. We are going to tell you something that will make your head explode.
Yeah.
And then you will fill a statue with your own blood from your head exploding. Like, that'd be fine.
Yes.
But when they're like, come back in a month, it's like, how about no?
So everyone's like, they're like, what the hell? And it's just, they're like, everyone's, this is like, it's classic Funcom. So
I just don't understand. One, I don't understand, like, I still occasionally think of the game, but then I remember all the bad things. And then every time you try to get back into it, you're just like, yep, all those bad things are still there. And then sometimes it's like, it's actually worse. Or, it's slightly better.
It's a shame because it is a fun game. And I guess I see a lot of promise they could do with that game.
Yeah.
But, the one cool thing is I was building up in the north area.
Yeah.
So, time is just progressing as I'm in, like, admin mode building this base. And it's funny because as I was building it, all of a sudden, Star Metal happened, and the comments came down, and it destroyed my base as I was building it. It was neat. It totally, because I'm like, what the hell?
I thought the Star Metal was an awesome addition. I thought the Star Metal weapon should have been your in-game stuff, though.
Yes.
As it was like, oh, it's a lot of work for this, and it's not even that good.
Well, and because everyone was complaining that there's 50. They said, now whether this is true or not, I don't know, but they said 50% of the time, Star Metal when it hits the ground, it's bugged. It's bugged, despawns, whatever, you can't get it out. So the ones that happened in my single player game, I tried it, and they were bugged. It wouldn't.
Like 100%.
I'm shooting like explosive arrows, jars at it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because like I assume it's still the same where you got to put the oil on it and then burn it to crack it.
You can do that, or you just put explosive jars on it and blow it up.
Okay.
But regardless.
Well, yeah, because I remember there were some where like you could put like 4 of the grease things on it and then light that on fire. Usually that would do it. But yeah, sometimes like even when it was working pretty reliably, there'd occasionally be one that like no amount would crack it.
Yep. Well, and the thing is with Star Metal, if you people have never played Conan Exiles, it's a really hard thing to get. You get to stand up there and wait for these asteroids to hit the Earth.
Yeah.
And if you're waiting all that time, it finally happens, and you track it down, and it's bugged. Yeah, you're gonna be a little defeated.
Well, yeah, because we had like I had built in like an area that I knew it never landed.
Yeah.
But up north, there was like the portal or whatever, like the teleport to get there. It was basically go there and like patrol and try to find them. Like I knew almost all of the spawn areas, and you hardly ever got one, or you'd be standing there and you'd see them hit, and then you'd walk over and they'd despawn.
Yeah.
And it was super frustrating. And then it's like, oh, I finally made this, and there's like just this random other thing that I can make that's way better, that's way easier.
Yes.
And it was super dumb.
Yep.
And I don't even think, because like going back to like the Conan cartoon, like the star metal was really good against the serpent people.
Sure.
Like it's not like, unless they added that and I didn't realize, like if the star metal would have been like super good against even the serpent people, where it was like, oh, you're going to notice the difference of this. It'd be fine if it was like, well, it's a pain in the butt to make, but for this one instance, it is just super awesome.
Sure.
But it was just like, yeah, like the power level was just wrong.
Yeah. Well,
For
and
sure.
like the volcano area, I was just exploring it. They've done a lot. They've done so much with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, because when you and me were playing, it was like completely vacant up there. There was like nothing up there.
Yeah.
But now there's like thralls up there. There's like little camps. So
Yeah,
they've
different
done a lot
things.
of stuff to the game, but it's just broke.
Well, it seems like I mean, I have to assume that the engine that it's built on is where all the problem comes from.
Sure. Especially when you make a map that you can't add on to it, which is baffling.
That seems like such a bad decision to do it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I remember like you telling me about the countdown or whatever, and then that it was and I was just like, why would they do that?
Yep.
Like you're
It's Funcom.
like there can't be. Hold on, I'm looking at their Twitter page. I'm curious. So they have 61,000 followers.
Yep.
I'm going to assume like not all of them play the game. There's no way at this point.
I'm going to say 50% of those followers are bots.
Players. Conan Exiles Steam. Let's see if there's something that will. So this says for Conan Exiles from Steam, in the last 30 days, the peak players were 13,000. Average players were about almost 8,000.
Okay.
So it looks like it's in the 8,000 to 7,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the Steam charts. So 39 minutes ago, this is assuming this is, accurate. 7,886. The 24-hour peak was 9,333.
Yeah.
All time, like the most they've ever had is 53,000 people on one.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like their charts are pretty, like the people who are still playing it are still playing it at the same clip. But so let's see. In the last 30 days, they are down 4%.
Mm-hmm.
Back in March, they lost 20%. February, they lost 11. So whatever happened in January bumped them up. Like November, December, and January, they actually increased. They went from 11,000 to 15, and now they're down to 13. So they're up technically, but like, dude, this game, I don't know. Like, one, I'm kind of surprised that Funcom is still producing it in any way.
Sure.
Like, truth be told. But,
Well, then they were talking about they were going to release a Dune game. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that.
I do not find Dune that interesting.
No, as a franchise, it's boring. I
mean, like the world, like I imagine there's stuff you could do with it, but
Sure.
I've never gave it like a huge effort either. But if I have to give something a huge effort, that's usually an indication that it's not going to be for me no matter what.
Sure.
So, do you want to move on to some wrestling real quick?
Sure. Well, you're on the time limit. You tell me.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right. So we had last week, MJF did his version of a pipe bomb promo,
Yep.
and now he's disappeared.
Yep.
The end, and we never saw him again.
What if we don't? What if we don't? What if that was MJF's curtain call?
I mean, it could very well be. I don't think so. Like, you would have to assume, although it would be fantastic if not, that for him to come out and do what he did, that they came to an agreement. Or Tony Khan's a madman and was like, you know what? You go out and do whatever you want. Be like, I get that you're mad. I'm going to let your contract run out, but say what you want. Like, I don't think he did that. I don't think he gave a completely disgruntled person a live mic.
Especially with Warner Brother and Discovery execs there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give a disgruntled employee a live mic
Right.
while I'm trying to get a new TV contract. No.
Yeah, or just like get on good terms with them. Yeah, so you have to. The logical assumption would be that whatever the problem is, they came to some form of an agreement. And this is now part of it. Now, I know some people are like super upset still because it's like, oh, now that they're talking about it, it's obvious it's a work. Well, it doesn't mean it started out that way. Because they're like, I can't believe you would do a work and you'd no-show a meet and greet. And it's like, something tells me that isn't part of this. Whatever was going on, that was not like a haha, we're so clever. I think that was like something bad was going on.
It might be 50% work and 50% shoot, I guess.
Yeah. But so I'm not going to sit here and be like, I can't believe they would make that part. Like, it's happened. Like, everybody who's watching knows there's something going on. Sure. It's silly to not, like, I don't know what else you do. Like, you kind of have to address it.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you turn it to storyline if everything's okay?
Yeah.
And everything, why wouldn't you turn it to storyline?
Or even if MJF's still unhappy, but he still wants to work, it's like, well, do you want to do, like, this is probably the strongest thing we can do. I mean, you want to, like, it'd be silly not to take advantage of it.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to jump ahead from this week's Dynamite a little bit to the Adam Page match first, because it kind of goes with this, because you had sent me a message asking about what I thought about his promo, and I had to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
So my feelings on it were that basically he's just unhappy about the Punk situation for some reason. And
I never explained.
Yeah, well, it's like maybe his brain's broken, or they're going to do like the big reveal that, like he has there's backstage footage of something or whatever. Obviously with Punk being broken, that timetable has shifted or whatever. But how did you take the promo?
See, I kind of, it's like, and maybe because other people on the internet said this too. They're like, why does it seem like the AEW originals are becoming disgruntled against the company?
Yeah.
And they're allowing them to say that because, I mean, Page didn't go as extreme as MJF did, but
right.
I mean, he definitely hinted at like, oh, I guess because everyone on the internet, and I agree with them, said he was a boring champion.
Yeah. And
Page alluded to it like, well, I guess I'm not going to get another chance at the belt. We all know that because, Tony Khan is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It makes you kind of wonder.
Yeah,
now, it makes me wonder with the Young Bucks this coming week, if the Hardy Boys win the championship, what are they going to do?
Right. Hopefully survive long enough to drop them to somebody if they win. But yeah, you mean like what would the Young Bucks do?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
I have seen and this wouldn't be an invasion, but this would be like a kind of an invasion angle, but not really. I typically don't like those because I think it's dumb. But they might be able to do it in a way that's entertaining. If it ends up that you get like the Elite back, but like MJF is now playing the role of Cody, let's say, where it's like Young Bucks, Hangman, eventually Kenny, and then you have MJF with them as like kind of like the original faction, and they're just unhappy with how things are going. I mean, I think you could do something interesting with it, but I don't know how you get it to make sense.
Well, again, the problem is because it'd be borderline like the corporation in WWE, basically.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I do not want to see Tony Khan as a character on Dynamite.
Well, hopefully someone like Regal would be the figurehead and not Tony Khan.
Sure. That would make sense.
Now, they could do something totally crazy. And, I mean, it would take somebody like MJF, I think, to do it, is to make the company the good guy. But you have to... Because typically they always make the company the bad guy, which seems like a real bad idea. Like...
Sure.
Because WWE is the heel. The company is the bad guy. It's not good.
Well, the NWO made the WCW not the bad guy, but made WCW like the losers.
Well, they made them look,
which
made
is
them look
not a
dumb.
good idea either.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's a way. Yeah, because like basically the NWO was cool. Like
Sure. Not at first they weren't though, but they switched the crowd. The crowd's like, you know what, these guys are awesome. They are right.
They were
WCW does suck.
They were like beating everybody up, and then all of a sudden it's like you put some, like everybody in the NWO was pretty charismatic. Initially,
Sure.
You had Hall, Nash, and Hogan. I mean, they were probably like the worst bad guys at the beginning, but then as it went on, it was like, man, these guys are so much better than everybody else as far as like presentation. It's hard not to root for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, the thing is that you would have to give, I guess, MJF some kind of power that he could abuse to make him the bad guy. Where I just don't know what they're doing. Like, it just doesn't. I can't see an end game if that's the route they're going.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, like you said, he would have to do something.
Yeah.
Either he joins New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're there. You were turning into a robot briefly.
Gotcha. Like if he turns, like he joins it, like New Japan, and gets some kind of power that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do it, but
yeah. Hopefully they have it well thought out and some contingencies in there, because I don't know if MJF was supposed to be getting cheered as much as he was.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He turned to fans. He became the NWO. Fans like, you know what? AEW is kind of screwing him over.
Well, and the other issue is, like, whether you like him or not, MJF is really talented.
Sure.
So it's hard not to appreciate someone being good at it or whatever. Now, so I don't know, like Casino Battle Royal, you got Kyle O'Reilly won the Battle Royal. Now you were like, were you hoping that he would win when he fought Moxley, or were you just like, I'd be interested to see if they would actually go that route?
So I didn't want either one of them to win.
Yeah.
Because I don't think either one of them are very interesting. I've never been a Moxley. I mean, he's all right. But yeah, I'm like, but clearly everyone's like, yeah, so Moxley's going to win this because they want Moxley as a champion.
Well, they're good. Like, Moxley is a proven money draw, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
It would be crazy to have, like, potentially not necessarily like the biggest pay-per-view, but like for the first time you're doing it, the biggest person you can have at the moment is going to be Moxley, I would say.
Agreed.
Since Punk is injured.
Or Jericho. But Jericho's in a terrible storyline, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Jericho's not like top guy Jericho at the moment.
No.
So Moxley is.
Some would argue if he's even mid-card Jericho.
Yeah. But going to that, so like Moxley beats Kyle O'Reilly at the end, but I think O'Reilly looked really good. I mean, he went through a battle royal and then he had to fight Moxley. You're not expecting somebody to win that. But match was good. Kyle O'Reilly's like, I didn't realize how good he was in ring, and then character wise, he's like the weirdo bad guy, which I can kind of get into, but I am convinced, and I sent you this, that he needs to try out some long tights.
Yes.
Because you can get a little more design on that, because he looks like a generic create a character wrestler, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, yeah.
And, I mean, he has personality. He has personality in the ring. Like, his style kind of gives him some personality. It's just like the visual presentation feels like the weak link in the chain.
Yep.
So maybe give some long tights a try. Add some color to your gear or something. I don't know. I don't think that's like good. Like, you know what? If Kyle O'Reilly would have just done this one thing, it would have been like. I don't think it's like. I don't think that is a setback so much, but I think it might help.
Get some long boys.
Yep. I wonder how many wrestlers are irritated that CM Punk called them that, and that's basically what they are now.
Yes.
But yeah. So I'm going to assume that Moxley is going to fight Tanahashi. Like, I don't see there being any other result. And Moxley has constantly called out Tanahashi. So now you finally get it for a pretty big deal. Now, this was something that you had sent me, that you'd actually like to see New Japan have the interim title.
Sure.
I mean, that'd be pretty crazy.
Because I don't think CM Punk. I mean, yeah, he's never wrestled Moxley. He's wrestled Dean Ambrose, but he's never wrestled Moxley. I think he just wants to wrestle people he's never wrestled before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know a lot about this. What's his name? Tashi or whatever.
Tanahashi.
But he's a pretty big name in
Japan, right? Very good.
Okay.
It was also one of the comparisons I heard early on when I first started getting like the Wrestle Kingdoms years and years ago was imagine good guy John Cena.
Yeah.
But the crowd never started to go 50-50 on him. Like,
gotcha.
Like, so he's basically like kind of like a John Cena good guy. Gotcha. Like, he's just like, he's your generational, built the company around him at one point, just super good guy, always does pretty much the right thing.
So he's Hogan, basically.
Before Hogan went
80s.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's 80s Hulkamania Hogan.
Yeah, instead of posing, he plays air guitar at the end. So, but I mean, he's like good. Like, work rate Hogan, maybe.
Gotcha.
Now, I understand that's not like for people who are like, oh my God. I'm trying to give a general idea for like as casual as I've seen him. Like, I'm familiar, but like that's kind of what the idea is behind it. Now, I will ask this. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I was going to say, so if we give Tanahashi the belt, let's say, which would be crazy, but I could honestly see at this point doing it just for the sake of doing it. I don't necessarily think that makes your company look weak, but I could see people would have that argument.
Especially if you let Hangman win the...
That's what I was going to say is, let's say Hangman does wrestle Okada, which is, I would like to see that match personally. I do not want to see Adam Cole involved in that at all, unless Adam Cole is taking the pinfall by Hangman in a three-way match, so that you set something up. But it would make sense where if Tanahashi gets the interim title, it's like, well, just to be safe, let us get your belt. That way, neither one of us is going to do something stupid to the other. Like,
well, and Hangman's wrestled for New Japan before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So I mean,
so the audience there would recognize who Hangman is.
Yeah, like it'd be fine. Like, he's a bigger deal now than he was there. Gotcha. But yeah, it's that would be interesting to see. That would also give, because they clearly have, unless it's changed drastically, Hangman's going to be a big deal for AEW long term. Him bringing, like, I'm assuming Moxley and Tanahashi would be the main event to that. Yeah. But if not, Moxley losing, and then AEW doesn't even have a belt now until CM Punk comes, and then Hangman wins it. It's like, oh, look, I did, whatever. Give him some fuel for whatever weird thing he's going to be doing. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, and you can just have Moxley win and Okada win. Like, keep it the same. But I like your thought of maybe do something a little bit different.
Sure.
And if you trade the belts, basically, you're not giving. It kind of keeps the companies on the same level, if that makes any sense. I would feel.
Sure.
Now, I'm sure there's a million reasons that's a bad idea, but I'd just like to see something crazy happen. Which is funny when I'm talking about like the second biggest U.S. company and the Japanese company having a shared pay-per-view, but it's like, well, I want something crazy to happen, and that, like, we're spoiled in a sense that, like, that's not good enough now.
Now, should I be like the WWE fanboys? Oh, you admitted AEW's the second best.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, from a financial standpoint and stuff, it's hard to, like, I don't know. Is that one of those like gotchas where you're like, well, yeah. That'd be like, well, this guy over here, he's taller than me, so you admitted you're short. Well, I mean, compared to that guy who's 7 foot, yeah.
I wonder if RC Cola, if they're like, I wonder if people are like, aha, Coke and Pepsi's better than you, and RC Cola's like, yeah, sure. I've been here just as long as they have, though. So
I know Coke and Pepsi are like that with each other.
Yeah,
like Coke people are worse than Pepsi people for sure. Because I am a Pepsi person typically, and the Coke people are like. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, people get so into it. Like, I have never gone to a friend's house.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had friends whose families were like that. They were the Coca-Cola people, who their kitchen was basically like a Coca-Cola like roadside stand, like Coke bottles and like the Coke red and white everywhere, and the tables and the benches.
So like in my family, my mom was a Coke drinker, so I kind of. This is because, my mom's going to spend more time with my mom as a little boy. I grew up drinking Coke, but my dad's parents and his entire family love Pepsi.
Yeah.
So anytime I would, like, spend a night over there at their house, it was always Pepsi. And, they would just trash Coke. Like, oh, Coke is terrible. But like, it's like Coke did something to them, like, personally or something.
Yeah, it's weird. Speaking of that, so... we basically hit the stuff that really mattered on this show, like the bigger talking points. Granted, they're doing a new title belt, but we'll have more information on that in the future, so we can talk about that then. You had sent me, there was like a Twitter page that you had sent me. What was that about? Because we're going to have to wrap up soon, but I wanted to talk about that because it made me laugh.
So it makes me laugh, all these toxic WWE fanboys that have like pages dedicated to AEW botches and just hating on AEW.
Well, there's anti-WWE people as well.
Agreed.
But I swear I see the anti-AEW way more.
Yes. But I think I sent you something about Star Wars.
Yeah, it was Star Wars and Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, and I was like, and I sent you, I'm like, it's so refreshing to know that that there's other psycho, mentally deranged people that spend so much time watching a product they hate.
Just to, well, because now, and my response to that was like, if it's something that somebody, like, something dumb happens, then they make like an account, and it's like a gimmick account for them for like a month, and then they lose interest in it. That's one thing. You had your fun. Or if like you wait for something real dumb, and like every couple months you like end up doing something. Like you're waiting to hear about it. Like you're not actively watching every episode to nitpick it. Like you're not hate watching everything. I think that's more reasonable. But yeah, like it's crazy how intent they are on that. So if you're one of those people, stop it.
Well, like I understand why Jim Cornette does it because he makes money off of with his podcast. Yes. But he also craps on WWE. He doesn't like any of the current wrestling.
Yeah, there's basically he likes CM Punk, and that's honestly about it. And
pretty much. Yeah. So he there's really no loyalty one way or the other.
Yeah.
He does not like the current, unless it's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He
Yeah.
does not like the current wrestling product, which, hey, that's his taste, whatever. So he makes money off it. I understand why he does it.
Right.
But if you're some like deranged mental case that makes like a Twitter page sole purpose just to crap on something that you hate, but you watch it every week,
Yeah.
that's weird. I don't get that.
Yeah, you need to distance yourself for sure.
You need to get some mental help. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Because there's a line between having a little bit of fun with it and just be like, dude, is your identity hating this thing? That's creepy.
Yes.
So, all right. I just wanted to get that in because I thought that was a good thing to point out. But
Yeah.
what we need to do is we need to try to find the most obscure hate thing where it's like, is there an account dedicated to like Land O'Lakes butter? Where it's like, this is the worst butter. Look at this. I bought another stick.
Well, that's why I chose, because I do not like the TV show at all. I chose the Golden Girls because most people, I have never heard anything bad about the Golden Girls. Maybe I don't know. So maybe we should make a Twitter account that's trash to the Golden Girls. But it would force me to watch the Golden Girls, so that's why I would never do that.
Right. See, I don't dislike the Golden Girls. I thought it was an okay show, but
Yeah.
I mean the Golden Girl fans are kind of weird. So, because they're like super into it, to where it's kind of weird.
Well, but see, there's nothing wrong with. So there's nothing wrong with liking it, but maybe there is something wrong if you make your life about the Golden Girls.
Well,
I don't know.
What was super weird to me is when I was working at the memory care facility, Golden Girls was always like one of the things that was on. But in a lot of the cases, the Golden Girls were like way younger than the residents. And that was like a super weird dynamic for me to wrap my head around.
Sure.
So, but all right. I think the only other thing, did you see Cody Rhodes wrestled with a torn pectoral muscle?
I seen the picture. I did not watch the match.
I
Because I think I'm burnt out on Cody.
I'm probably going to go back and watch the match because it seems like there was some crazy stuff going on. I honestly had it on and I fell asleep. So, and that's not. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did Seth Rollins dance around like a bird with his broken wing and stuff?
I'm going to assume. I will try to watch it. If so, I will send you screenshots. So
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to say we wrap it up.
Yep.
And I'm going to hit the button. Here we go.
Bye, people.